Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our SEUNGWOO career mode series here. I did notice yesterday after I uploaded the video that there was a corruption issue that I didn't notice with the previous episode, so we actually ended up missing one episode in the series, which is a little disappointing because I don't have that file anymore. But it is what it is. It was just a little preseason tournament, which we did end up winning, and obviously if you guys did watch the previous episode, you know we managed to pick up a preseason treble, winning our invitational tournament and then winning the Supercopa and the Europa Cup, or the Europe Cup, however you want to call it. Here we are playing our first game of the season against Real Betis, just trying to continue our success from last season and start off the season on a good note, making sure that we're putting our best foot forward, making sure that the players that we've sold off this year aren't going to hinder us as a team too much. And Real Betis, they're not the strongest team in the league by any means, but they're definitely a good team to kind of test that theory, especially with how this manager likes to play during the season and use weaker lineups. It'll definitely be interesting to see how things work out. As you see throughout this game, there's a lot of miscommunication with the back line. There's a lot of miscommunication all over the pitch, really. We come pretty close to almost conceding a goal there, and they end up getting a corner a few minutes later going with this opportunity, and they're able to go ahead and grab that goal because PK was standing a little bit too far off the line and had to run back to try to get that ball, but was not able to cover back fast enough before that goal ended up going through. Here, though, right off a kickoff, we managed to work our way into the box. I kind of work my way through. Slide tackle comes in, but I managed to work my way past it and smash that ball up into the upper 90 of the right side of the goal and giving us a equalizer goal pretty early on and a pretty quick, swift reply to get us back into this game. From there, we ended up just kind of trying to push a little bit higher, and by we I mean me. The rest of the team really wasn't helping me in terms of trying to work our way into the box, and it became a little bit of a struggle in terms of trying to find more opportunities than just myself to score goals. So that was a big thing last season, was when the entire team was playing well, we were winning games. Whenever it was only one or two of us that were doing well, it was hard to show a lot of resilience and a lot of power with the team. And that's definitely going to show in this season, especially with a lot of these players leaving. And like I did say in the previous episode, there are more players leaving the club, and there's a lot of surprising things that happen with this Barcelona team because we're not picking up a lot of players, which you guys are going to see right after this game. I'm going to go ahead and go through and show you guys what players we did bring in and what players we are going to be losing, and wrapping up the transfer window in this episode as well. A little bit of a surprise, like I did say, with some of the players that are leaving the club. And I will also get into the player that I have the opportunity to play with that is another world-class player, arguably on the same level, if not better than Messi in some people's eyes. So I'm sure with that hint, it's pretty obvious who I am talking about. But getting near the end of the game, we had another opportunity to grab a goal, but it ended up not working out in our favor. So I end up getting pulled in the 85th minute, and I believe we end up drawing that game 1-1. Or maybe we did end up winning it. Now that I'm thinking about it, we may have actually won that game. Suarez ended up coming into the game. He didn't score a goal, but I believe there was another goal in that game, possibly. Vidal managed to pick up an assist in that previous game. I'm talking about this stuff, but as you guys are looking through, you can see the players that we did go ahead and bring in. I talked a little bit about Adam Armstrong in the last episode, but other than that, there really weren't any big names that came in, but there were definitely some other players. We picked up a couple center backs, I believe, as well. Manu Garcia, I believe, is a new player. Just kind of working our way through, looking for any big names, but you're not going to see any because we haven't signed any big names. The fact that Ter Stegen is still on this team is actually really surprising for me. I really didn't think that he would stay with the club as little gameplay as he's been given. Here we're just working our way, looking through the transfer deadline day. I wanted to go ahead and look to see, did Real Madrid sign anybody? They didn't. They signed Becker for $3 million, so they didn't make any really big sales either. but that was kind of expected, I guess. They never really do in career modes except for like the really big purchases. Roberto Firmino and Eriksen actually managed to go to Valencia, so they're definitely working on that midfield over there. Atletico Madrid isn't doing too much, and like I said, we have sold 180 million worth of players. Roberto and Rakitic have also as well left the team, so as Valencia is building a midfield that's strong enough to play, we are destroying ours. And honestly, at that point, I was like, I really don't even trust being on this team anymore. And here, in the last hour of the transfer deadline day, an offer comes in from Manchester City, and I looked at that and I was like, do I really want to make this move? I was like looking through, making sure none of their transfers went through for Barcelona, but looking through the squad, looking at the players that I could play with, Cristiano Ronaldo is the player on this team that draws me so very much. He obviously left Real Madrid while I was out of the country on loan in my first season, and I actually didn't even realize that playing against Real Madrid. I thought he was just sitting the bench because for whatever reason they didn't want him playing, but that gives me the opportunity to play with him. He's teaching Raheem Sterling to be a better player. Yaya Toure is still there. So many incredible players are still in this team that it's really hard for me not to want to go there. Jimenez is also there at center back to learn from Company and so many other great players in that team. So you know what? I was like, I'm going to Manchester City. I'm out of Barcelona. This team is falling apart, and I really don't see them doing well. Do I want to go back there in the future? Possibly. But as of right now, I want to go play in the Premier League. 86 rated striker. I'll definitely be the starting striker in this team because they did sell off Aguero. So this just seemed like the right move. So going ahead, straight ahead, hopping into a game against Norwich. I think we are 3 games into the season already, and this is the 4th game of the season. So a little bit deeper into the season than obviously La Liga is, but that is expected. I'm playing with Kevin De Bruyne at right mid, which is a little questionable. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about him playing out there, but nonetheless, that is his position, so it is expected. Ronaldo is obviously wearing the number 9 because Raheem Sterling is wearing 7, and I can't actually change that, which is a little disappointing because you do want to see Ronaldo wearing 7 at all times. But how many players are there really that have actually played with Messi and Ronaldo? And I'm actually going to cheat right here. And actually try to figure that out. I'm not actually sure off of the top of my head who has actually done it. But early on into this game in the 6th minute, Norwich actually ends up grabbing a goal and getting the lead. And the Manchester City team, obviously this is a different formation, different players, different style of play. So I'm sitting here trying to figure this out, obviously, in the first game here in the 39th minute. We have a little bit of an opportunity here, but there's just not many opportunities to score with this team, at least in this first game, and I was feeling a little uncomfortable, which obviously right when you leave, your first thought is, should I have left, especially when you're struggling against Norwich. They have 63% possession, we have 37 in this game, so that speaks volumes to how much we've been struggling. Their keeper managed to come up with a massive save to keep us down at 0 goals. But this has been a struggle, and I knew it would be coming to this type of team, into this type of league. I knew it was going to be difficult playing against and playing in the Barclays Premier League, but that's also the challenge that I wanted. Like I said, last season I didn't get much of a challenge because I was playing a lot of the weaker teams in La Liga, wasn't getting an opportunity in Champions League, which I know I'll be getting here. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this team actually progresses, how well we can do in the league. Obviously this league is packed, and a lot of Barcelona players are in this league now. I actually didn't check to see where Rakitic ended up. I do need to check that one more time. I want to say it was Liverpool, but I might be wrong in that. But I believe it is because they did end up losing Roberto Firmino, obviously. But a lot of good players are in this league, I don't really need to explain that anymore. You guys know the deal. It is the Premier League. But at the end of that game, I have a 5.6 rating, and we lose to Norwich at 0-1. So that's incredibly disappointing. Hopefully we can put in some pretty good performances for the rest of the season, and this is just a small little road bump in our journey to win the league. But we go ahead and get an opportunity to run out in the Champions League against Celtic, which obviously we all know Celtic. Lee Seung-woo, as in this career mode, has played against him obviously whenever we were playing for Aberdeen on loan, so we know what we're coming up against for Celtic. So this is definitely a team that I was comfortable to go up against, especially after coming off of that Norwich defeat. I knew this was going to be getting my confidence up a little bit, I guess I should say. But as I was saying, I know there's a couple players that have actually played with Messi and Ronaldo. Di Maria, obviously the biggest one, but there's definitely a few other players that throughout history have played with both of them, I believe. I may be wrong in that. If you guys actually know for sure, go ahead and leave that in the comments section below. But this was definitely an opportunity I didn't want to pass up. And as you see, I grabbed my first goal for Manchester City in the 31st minute of this game, so that obviously immediately relieves a lot of stress off of my shoulders. Getting the first goal is always the most difficult in career modes. You can go through such a weird streak right whenever you join a new team, so you want to make sure you want to grab that goal as early as possible, especially when you're playing in a team like this, because Wilfred Boney was doing pretty well before I came into the team, so he could definitely come back in and grab his starting position again. But I'm going to be playing with Ronaldo as much as possible, trying to get some opportunities for him. But what I loved right here, even though we didn't score from that position, was the fact that Ronaldo actually took a shot, because every time I was playing with Messi, I'd pass him the ball. He'd either immediately give it back to me, or the second I call for it, he's going to pass it to me, which sometimes, I'm just a little bit selfish and I want to get the ball back, but at the end of the day, I just want to score, and Ronaldo gives me that type of player to play with. And here in the 58th minute, just kind of an odd goal to score. I asked for the ball. It was a little bit of a weird pass. I managed to bring it down, hold off the defender, work my way into the box, and just smash that as hard as I could against the post, and actually managed to fall back into the goal. So really happy to go ahead and grab my second goal of this game, and the second goal of the game for the team as well. But 2 goals in the Champions League right off the bat is obviously incredibly important. Raheem Sterling's actually going to come in for Kevin De Bruyne there after I score my goal to give us a little bit more pace into the team. Like I said, I still haven't fully adjusted to having Kevin De Bruyne at right mid. I think he'd play incredibly well at center attacking mid, but at the end of the day, he's an incredible player, and he's going to do really well all over the pitch, as we have incredible players all over the place just the same. So here in the 60th minute, I actually do come out of the game. I had 2 shots, 2 on goal, and 2 goals rather. So that's definitely going to help my stats a lot. Wilfred Boney's going to go ahead and come into this game. As you see, I'm wearing the number 10. I don't know if I really mentioned that in the first 2 games. I had to switch. They originally gave me Mario Balotelli's old number 45, and I was very tempted to keep that, but I did end up changing our outro here to have Ronaldo's face next to Lee Seung-woo. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and until the next one, I'll see you guys later.